Hello guys, welcome back to CodeStudio. I am Balakrishna and today we are diving into one of the most essential topics in Python, that is functions and modules. Functions are the building blocks of Python programming, making your code organized, reusable and efficient. By the end of this video, you will know what functions are and how they work, different types of arguments in Python, how to use Lambda functions for a quick one-liners, and finally we'll see how to import modules to keep your code clean. So let's get started. In this session, we will cover following topics. So the first one will try to define the functions in a Python. Then we'll see the function arguments and its return values. The third one would be Lambda functions, that is one-liner code to perform a certain task. And finally, we'll see how to import and use the modules. What is function? A function is a reusable block of code that performs a specific task. It helps keep code clean, modular and efficient. Now, let us see how to define a function. Here is an example. So this is one of the example of defining a function. So def, greet and the argument. This syntax is used to define the function, and the print of hello, the name, that is the argument. This command gets execute when function is called. Now let us see how to call function. So here is the command. So you just need to call your function name with argument. So let us run this. So let's first create the function. Now let us run this command to call the function. So this way we can call any function. What is function argument? Information can be passed into functions as arguments. Arguments are specified after a function name inside the parenthesis. You can add as many arguments as you want, just separate them within a comma. There are multiple types to use arguments in function. So the first one is positional type. So here is an example of this. In this function, we have defined function name as add with two argument a, b, and we are returning value of a plus b. Okay. Now to call this function, we are using syntax like this: add of 5, 3. So in this call, the 5 will be assigned to a argument and the 3 will be assigned to b. Okay, so let us run and see what should be the results. So you can see the 8, that is a plus b. So this type of passing arguments is called as positional arguments. Now let us see how to use keyword arguments. So here is the syntax. In this example, we have defined a function with two arguments and we are printing those two arguments using print function. Now to call that function using keyword approach, here is the syntax. So we are calling this function and we are passing the argument name, and after the equal sign we are passing the value to that argument. So this is the way we pass a value to the arguments. In this approach, we can change the position of the arguments. Like you can see in the second method function call. So we are calling the name as a first argument and the animal as a second argument. Whereas in positional, we cannot change the position of these argument values. So let us run this and see the results. Now you can see the results. Now let us see how to define the default value to argument. So here is an example. In this example, we have defined a function called greet with the argument name, and here we are passing the constant value called user. So this is nothing but the default value. Okay. Now in this line, we are just calling the greet without any value. So once we run this function, okay, so because we are not passing any argument value, so what it does, it will fetch the constant value or the default value and it will print the results. Okay, whereas in the second function where we are passing the argument as a sum, now it will not consider the constant or default value. Instead, it will use the as a sum. Okay, so let us run and see the result. So this way we can pass the default arguments to the function. Now let us understand what is lambda function. A lambda function is a small anonymous function which can take any number of arguments but can have only one expression. Here is an example. In short, we can say lambda is a one-line function with no name. So this is the way to define a lambda function, where the lambda is the keyword and this will be the arguments. Okay, and this will be the result of that, which will be written and stored into square variable. So let us run this function and see what should be the results. So now you can see the result is 25. So 5 is the argument which got multiplied with another 5, and we got the result of 25. So basically, when do we need lambda function? We need to use lambda functions when an anonymous function is required for a short period of time. What is module? A module is a file containing Python code such as functions, variables, or classes. By importing module, we can call any function of that module within a Python code. Now let us understand with an example. In this example, the math is a standard module which can have multiple functions in which the square root is one of the function available in this module. Now to call that function, that is the square root, we need to import the module called math using import keyword, so that we could use its members like one of the function called square root using this math dot square root. Okay, so let us run and see the results. So in this example you would have seen, right? So we haven't written any logic for a square root function because it was already there in the standard module called math, and we just utilized using by importing the math module and calling the function using math dot square root. Similarly, we can also create our own module by creating a Python file, okay, where we can define all the set of functions which are needed for our programming, and later on we can import that file using an import keyword, and we can utilize or call those functions which are there in that module or file. We will see more on our custom modules in upcoming sessions. That's all for now. Let us see what we have learned today. So we have learned what is function, how to define the function. Then we also see like what are the ways to pass the arguments to the function, and we saw one-liner code of function using lambda keyword. Okay, and finally we saw what is module and how to import the standard modules using import keyword. If you found this helpful, like and subscribe to CODESTUDIO for more Python tutorials. Let me know in the comment section what you would like to learn next. Thank you.